Successful traders always follow the line of least resistance. Follow the trend. The trend is your friend. That is an old quote from an old-time trader, Jesse Livermore. And my friends, nothing could be more true. The trend is your friend. And of course, our biggest trend is the weekly vertical crossover. Thank you, Patreon members, all of you who joined us today live for the live question answer call-in session, first Wednesday of every month. That was, of course, the first day of September this time. I had a great time. Appreciated everyone being with us. Appreciated the good questions. Appreciated sharing, particularly about those 20 weekly vertical crossovers we provide to our Patreon supporters every single week. Those will be going out, of course, tomorrow night. And I look forward to doing that research and getting them out. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. Backtrack those, practice trade them. For Patreon members, do check your email. I sent out, for those of you who couldn't join us, a recording of the live Patreon call-in. There are no Patreon spots available right now. They are all full. However, I will be expanding the lowest tier in the next day or so. Those of you interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, I'm going to open that up. I just keep it at a certain number so I can manage the Patreon folks, and it's been going without a problem lately, so I'm going to go ahead and expand it a little more. We appreciate the Patreon supporters. They help pay for the bandwidth, the texting service, all the webmasters, all the little expenses that are associated with doing an operation like this. Let's jump into these charts. We see everything up for the day, but Bitcoin down a little bit. S&P 500 up 0.07%. We have an up week that is forming. Where are we on the price percent oscillator crossing over? It is not doing so yet. Maybe by the end of the week it will happen, but again, I keep telling you guys, and you're like, well, it just keeps going up. Why are we not trading this? Because the charts aren't working. My friends, there are thousands of stocks and ETFs. If a chart's not giving you the accurate signal, this is the learning lesson from this, okay? You don't trade it. If it doesn't give you clear signals as to what's going on, you don't trade it. When it gives you clear signals and it has an accurate past history of accurate weekly vertical crossovers or two-day recrosses or whatever, then yes, you do. But when it doesn't do that, this is the object lesson. This is what you are to learn. You don't mess around with charts that aren't working at the time. That's just the bottom line. So that is the lesson. What do we see going on with the two-day? Well, it crossed over going up. It wasn't a recross. It was a crossover going the opposite direction of the weekly. And what do we see happen? Well, that happened on Monday. And the Tuesday, Wednesday, we see that it reached a high of 453.11. Previous high, 453.07. Not much. Little bit higher, not much, but again, we do see it moving up the two-day trend line. Derivative oscillator still barely negative. We look at the half-day. That's where we can see where things topped, and it's sort of been sliding sideways since then for 2.5 days. So we will just continue to watch and see. Derivative oscillator is heading down. Price percent oscillator heading down. We'll just wait and see how things shake out. But remember that object lesson, my friends. You want good, clean, clear charts. And when they're not doing that for you, then you stay away. That's what you learn from it. What do we see on the Qs? Well, we look at the Qs and we see that we have a green up candle moving up quite nicely. Unlike the S&P, the Qs has been in a confirmed up move, going all the way back to the week ending July the 2nd. And we see that the derivative oscillator is gaining a little bit of momentum. Price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line. What did we have? Well, we had a two-day recross back on Monday. And check out what the candle's done. The high on during Monday, let's see, was 180.76. How high did we go so far? 182.71. I'm sorry, I'm saying 1. That's 380.76, 382.71. So, again, going in the right direction. 2-day recross looking decent. Price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line. Derivative oscillator gone green. And we look at the half day, we can see where things punched up in the morning and then bled off a little in the afternoon, again only up 0.17%. That's where we are on stocks. Let's go to bonds, up 0.04. Now again, this is 0.4%, not much. What do we see for the week? Well, not a doji anymore, just sort of a little red spinning top, almost a doji. Price percent oscillator positive and flat, derivative oscillator positive but losing momentum. 2-day still heading down. Weekly still in a confirmed up move. 2 days heading down. Not getting close yet to crossing over, going up. So no 2-day recross in the immediate future unless bonds just took off. Derivative oscillator still losing downward momentum, but still red. We look at the half day. What does the intraday show us? It shows us where things peaked on Monday afternoon, and then it just been bleeding off and heading down since then. Derivative oscillator went negative. At the end of the day, price percent oscillator heading down. So nothing happening in bonds. What about gold? We keep wanting gold to cross over. I do. But you know what? I'm going to let the charts lead me, not what I want. It's what the charts tell me. That's what we do. Now, it is trying to cross over. It is crossing over right now. It's only Wednesday. It's not Friday at the close of the market, but it is trying to cross over. Are we reaching a higher high? Check it out, 170. What was the high last week? 170.19. So we're not reaching a higher high yet. I would love to see this really pulling away. The blue crossing over the red, strongly heading up like we saw back on that last run up on gold, the week ending the 23rd of April. That was beautiful. Nice, clean crossover. Derivative oscillator, price percent oscillator, everything hammering over together, slamming up, and we made out like leprechauns in our practice trades. It was wonderful. So what are we waiting for here? Something better than we're seeing right now, I hope. Again, I can't make it do anything, but I'd like to see it do that. You look at this latest 2-day candle, not reaching a higher high. We like to see higher highs, progression. It's nice that it's moving up the 2-day trend line nicely. But again, and it's nice to see the price percent oscillator heading up, derivative oscillator heading up. We like to see higher highs too. So nothing's perfect. I don't expect things to be perfect, but we're going to watch, pay close attention. This is where we reached that last high on Friday afternoon, and then what's it done? It sank there on Monday morning and has been trying to gather a little energy and then lost some at the end of the day on Wednesday. Price percent oscillator just above the red signal line, heading down maybe a little bit. Derivative oscillator green, but losing momentum. So we'll watch and see how things shape up over the next 2 days. Lastly, we go to Bitcoin. Down for the day, 0.1%. Now we see a bit of a backup in Bitcoin. It did this after it took off back last year. If you guys remember when we had that weekly vertical crossover back in October, things took off and hammered up for a while and then slid sideways, up and sideways. And then, of course, we had that crossover going down. It did make a little bit higher high, but then it just hammered. We don't have a solid red candle yet. Good sign. I mean, things will move up. They'll digest gains and then move up again. That's what we hope Bitcoin is doing. Pay attention if you're in that practice trade. Price percent oscillator is weakening. Derivative oscillator still gaining some upward momentum. The 2-day, little less than flat. I mean, we've got 6 days now of sideways sliding and just staying weak these last 4 days. So let's watch. Derivative oscillator losing momentum. You can go back and backtrack this 2-day back during the last bump up of Bitcoin and see how this plays out similar to that to get some idea. And we'll, again, watch, wait, and see. We can see where things on Bitcoin hit that last high back on Monday the 23rd and then bled off quite a bit up and then have been sort of sliding and bleeding off again. We've not hit that most recent low again, which is good. and we'll continue to watch and see. If you want to learn about Bitcoin, my friends, you got to practice trading. Also, some of you, one of you had asked about Ethereum. You can track Ethereum, ETHE, if you're interested. That ain't a bad chart, is it, friends? It's not a bad weekly chart at all. So might encourage you to check that out. Not a bad 2-day chart at all either. So again, if you want to learn this stuff, you learn it by doing. 10 to 15 minutes a day, that's all we ask. You want to support us, want to open up those new slots in Patreon membership, you can do it also. If you don't have our book, that's the best way to start. Buy the book. See the link in the show notes. I'll send you an autographed copy. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.